Hey everybody, I know there are at least two English-speaking people in the audience. Anybody else? English? Then I'll do it in English anyway, so alright. Camille from WakaWaka. We have 9 crowdfunding campaigns behind us. And when we started, we basically didn't know anything about crowdfunding. Basically, our preparation consisted of writing a Kickstarter page and pressing launch. Sit back and wait and see what happened. And to tell you the truth, that was a big learning experience because not much happened actually. Kickstarter shows a trend line where you can actually see the projection of your campaign. And that wasn't really looking very wonderful. I mean, the trend line was, you know, right below where we were supposed to be and was getting lower. So we needed to do something. And honestly, we didn't know what, because we had no experience. So I started to look, as a lot of people here do, for advice. I was looking for crowdfunding experts. And I found 2 of them. And they organized the crowdfunding day today, Simon and Gijsbert. And we had a very good discussion about how to run a successful crowdfunding campaign, how to interact with people that are backing you. Be responsive. If people post a comment, answer them within hours, not within days, as we were doing at the time. And be attractive. Try to introduce some humor if it's too much of a serious topic, which we had. WakaWaka is a solar-powered phone charger and light. I have it in my pocket, obviously. And so we made this product basically to exchange kerosene lamps in the world. There's 1.2 billion people in the world who have no access to electricity, and it's a big problem because it causes a lot of problems in the world. And this is our solution to change that. It's a bit of a serious topic. So for Kickstarters, you are looking for an awesome new technology. It was maybe a little bit too heavy, the movie that we made. So in basically the brainstorm I had with Gijsbert and Simon, we came up with the idea to introduce Santa Claus. So some of you who were here this morning perhaps saw me present in a Santa suit, which is what I bought on Marktplaats, another crowdfunding sourcing platform, I guess. And I put on the Santa suit and I invited people who would back the campaign for more than $125 that they could send in a video script. And I would make a video recording of this script and send it back to them. Now, from the moment we put that video online, we saw that the campaign really took off. People were actually pledging $125, one after the other. Fortunately, nobody sent in that video script, apparently because they thought I was such a horrible actor. But it shows that sometimes when you're in an extreme situation, you need to look for some extreme measures, and you shouldn't be afraid to expose yourself. And I think it was also a way to show authenticity and that we were really dedicated to make this campaign a genuine success. And I think that's one of the key things about a crowdfunding campaign is that people need to know who you are. Are you authentic? Are you really the guy or the woman behind this? Is this really your passion? Or is this a money-making scheme? Because if that's the case, then you will likely not attract too many crowdfunders because people sense it. So the next time around we learned a lot. We prepared actually the second campaign. We actually made a pre-campaign. So we made a pre-campaign video to announce the campaign. And we ran that for a couple of weeks. And in the last 10 days before the campaign went live, we hired 2 grad students who knew something about social media. I didn't even have a Twitter account. I didn't use my Facebook account. They knew everything. So for 10 days, they busted their ass off, really. And they worked for 10 hours a day, blisters on their fingers on Twitter. And they were really able to get a lot of folks on Twitter and on Facebook to talk about us because it was a compelling story. And we announced that we were going live on a certain date. We asked people if they wanted to have a heads up. So when we went live, they were the first ones to hear about it. So they were the first ones to get access to the limited editions. Whatever they are, make sure that you have limited editions because it attracts people to the first day of your campaign. And once your first day is a success, as in you've reached your goal, whatever that goal is, then once you are a successful campaign, it attracts more people. And then your crowdfunding campaign really starts moving. But it's very important to have a feasible goal on the first day, which you can actually reach. So there's a lot more I can say, but do feel free to ask some questions.
I started crowdfunding campaign. Thank you. And of course, the first backers is your own network. And my network is very, they love my project and think it's very interesting. So I send them emails and I said, please back me up. And they say, yeah, I will do that in a week. They do, and they don't understand that it's very important for my campaign to do it now. So how do you? I told them that it's important, but still they think, like, yeah, it's in the weekend, and then in the weekend they forget. So how do you get them to give money?
Well, the short answer is limited editions. If they want to have something exclusive, they need to come to your campaign, and you can even do this still in the campaign. If you're too late, you said your campaign is already running. 1 week now. One week. You could still introduce limited editions. If the number of rewards or anything that you give back is limited, whatever it is, it creates urgency for people to be there. But I would suggest to also announce that you're going to do a limited edition. So hey everybody, I'm going to do this limited edition. It's going live in 24 hours or 2 days or whatever it is. And there are only 10 units available. And for sure there will be a number of people that will actually help do that. So it's just a suggestion. Yeah.
How do you prevent for feeling silly that you didn't buy that limited edition, or you backed up against a higher price than the first backers?
Yeah. So yeah, what you're saying is, how do you prevent that people feel awkward if they're too late, basically? Yeah.
If you already are a backer, and now I introduce a limited edition, that they will say, I already paid and I'm not getting it.
Well, if it's a new reward, maybe they can switch. Depends on the campaign. So during the campaign you can switch rewards. So that is possible. It's a little bit administrative, but you'll find out after the campaign how difficult that is. But how do you prevent people to feel miserable when they missed out on the limited editions? I think the people that you care about, that you know, they should know about the fact that you're doing a campaign. So if those people don't know about it and they're too late, then you didn't do a good job in informing them that there was an urgency there. And that's what we did by giving people a heads up. So, hey, we're doing this campaign. Give us your email address and we'll send you a heads up once the campaign goes live. So you're the first, actually, to be able to pledge. You can give them the time and date when you go live, actually, in advance. So they can schedule it in their agenda in advance. So so it's in the preparation, basically. And when they're too late, well, yeah, then they're too late. To be honest, what we did, we had a limited edition in our second campaign. And it was so successful. And it was gone in a day, in 24 hours. So basically what we did the exact limited edition again, basically. Yeah, it was for what was it? I don't remember. $50, 1,000 units, 1,000 units, $50. And we did that one more time because it went out so fast. And nobody complains about that. If you just repeat the limited edition one more time, you're not really hurting anybody. But there has to be a limit to the limited editions. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I got an interesting statistic from John Lellen from Kickstarter. He said that if you reach 25 backers, you have a 75% chance of being successful in your fundraising. Is that your experience? Can you? I want to check that with you.
Yeah. Well, he's the expert on Kickstarter, so I will not contradict him. But it's an interesting statistic because it really depends on how high your goal is. If you have rewards, if you have $10 rewards and you have a $100,000 goal, then that mathematic doesn't work. So there is an addition to that there should be a number of rewards that bring you to a certain level.
I think what he said was, if you get to 25 backers, you have a 75% chance that you will be successful. You're not 75% there, but there's a 75% chance that you will be successful.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because we have with us somebody who's also doing a crowdfunding campaign as we speak. It's Remarkable Magazine right here. And they're currently at around 70%, roughly currently. They have 90 backers. But if you see it, if you look at their trend line, it's going to be exciting whether they're going to make it or not. So that it's eight days left. So they have long passed that 25 people. So there was really no guarantee for them that after 25 people they would get there. So there's still a lot of work to be done in the last 8 days. So maybe I am contradicting John here. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Now I think what's most important for a successful campaign is to set your goals thoughtfully. I think if your goal is excessive, and if you have no way of knowing how to reach that, then without a miracle, it's doomed to fail. If you feel that with your friends and family, call people, talk to them. Would you back me? Would you do this? And if you get a feeling that you would be able to raise $5,000, $10,000 or something along those lines, then set your goal at $10,000, even if you need 50. Because if you don't reach 50, then where you are. So as soon as you reach that goal, whatever it is, it makes you a successful crowdfunding campaign. And that's more important, I believe, than the number of people who participate. It's reaching that goal, because that puts you in the trend lines, already funded or most successful or etc. When you go to...
Prove yourself a success, and then do the second campaign.
That is
also something that I got a question about, because if you have a first campaign and then in a half year you do another campaign, my family and friends would get very tired of me after 2 times. So how do you
Well, there's something to say to do multiple campaigns. We've done 9 campaigns. And if you look at The Coolest Cooler, I think most of you know The Coolest Cooler. It's one of the most successful crowdfunding campaigns ever in history. But they were only successful in their second campaign. Something was off in their first campaign. The timing was wrong, preparation was wrong. So they redid everything, but they learned a lot from their first campaign. So there's nothing wrong with failing in the first campaign. If you're dedicated, you're going to do it again. You're going to learn, you're going to prepare, and you're definitely going to be successful. And it's going to be beyond friends and family. And if you're not successful the first time around, then they're probably going to get their money back, hopefully. So,
what's your background before starting with this kind of nice idea?
I have a background in business administration, economics, and I did a lot of manufacturing in China. I made all sorts of promotional products in China. Yeah, you could say sales, manufacturing. So that comes in handy when you're creating a 3D product, if you have some experience in that field. And I partnered with Maurits Groen, who is the number 2 in the Dutch Sustainability Index, the Trouw Duurzame 100. So he had a network of people in the Sustainability Index. So I looked, I called him when I had the idea in Hong Kong. And I asked him, do you want to, you want to help me with this program? And he was befriended with look for partners. Now, I literally asked him whether he wanted to ask Al Gore if he wanted to be an ambassador for a non-existing product. But Al Gore, he brought him to the Netherlands a number of times, so it wasn't really an odd question, but he said yes in a second. So we decided on a phone call that we were going to start a company together. But attracting the right talent for any new company, I think is key, I believe. Yeah, always, yeah.
You said you had 7 campaigns. It was all the same product, or still?
I think it's 9 now. Yeah. So we did different campaigns. So every new product release that we did so far, we did a crowdfunding campaign. So there are 3 different products, 2 of them out there. The third one will be launched basically in June of this year. So what we also did is we did a new campaign also to be able to provide a new product release to our most loyal customers, to our backers, to what we call our agents of light. Because we want them to be the first ones to have access to something new. But also we get feedback from them. They are engaged. They are the backers of the first hour, basically, the first moment. So we truly value what people say to us. And when we try to incorporate that also in our product development. So that's also a way to use crowdfunding, so to get feedback from an initial customer base. Maybe another benefit to share with you. What we noticed that from the Kickstarter campaign, the result was not just the funding, but we got a tremendous amount of exposure. a lot of free publicity, but also because of that free publicity, we got inquiries from all over the world. After we did our first Kickstarter campaign, we got inquiries from over 40 countries around the world for our product. And I had never thought that that would be a benefit of a crowdfunding campaign. So doing a successful crowdfunding campaign is also a way to prove your product to a broader audience, to publishers, to distributors, to other customers, that there is a customer base for your new product. So we couldn't get money any elsewhere. So, and you know, we put all of our savings in it already, which wasn't a whole lot because, you know, I had a few other experience before that where I lost the rest of that. But there was no bank really that wanted to give us credit. Despite the great reputation that Morris had, despite, well, it wasn't a really amazing track record that I had, but still, it was a great idea. But no, crowdfunding really is a way also to prove to banks at some point that you're serious, that there is a market for it. But there's no guarantee that after a successful crowdfunding campaign, a bank is actually going to give you credit. That's a hoax. I found out. Yeah. So far, we have only done crowdfunding. Also, because with 2 years of track record, there are still no banks that want to give us credit. Yeah, even the Rabobank, ING, ASN, Triodos, all of them. Yeah, nobody wants to give us a credit line. Well, we have some negative equity. We had the first year that we did, we only had a quarter sales, so we had a loss. Second year, full year, we made a profit. Small loss next year, and now we are out of that J curve. So growth is happening now, and we need working capital. So we need to attract additional finance. So that's why we did a Geld voor elkaar campaign. We did 3 Kickstarter campaigns, 2 One Planet Crowd campaigns, a Symbit campaign, an Indiegogo campaign, 2 campaigns on our own website for Syria and the Philippines. And last month, in March, we did Geld voor elkaar, where we raised it's loans. But we needed that urgently for working capital. And we raised €500,000 in 32 hours. It was a record even for Geld voor elkaar, I think. Yeah, yeah. No, we offered only 6%. We had the lowest possible credit rating, which obviously explains why banks didn't want to give us credit. But we had the lowest possible credit rating, and 6% for Geld voor elkaar is relatively low, because they tend to be between 8 and 12% because of the relative risk. So that was a challenge. But fortunately, we have very loyal agents of light who wanted to invest some more. And I think that's really cool if you live up to your promises, and and if people know who you are, and if you're authentic about it, you attract a crowd of people. And I think to cherish that crowd going forward is very important. I think that's another lesson that we also learned, is once you've done a successful crowdfunding campaign, don't forget about the crowd. They were the ones that backed you first. Keep them in the loop. If you have new product updates, if somebody writes about you, if you're in a newspaper, tell them. Use the platform. That's a mistake that we made. We thought everybody would sign up for a newsletter. That not everybody did. So we informed everybody through the newsletter, and then we started to get complaints. We don't hear anything from you. And we said, oh, crap, maybe we should also communicate through the actual platform. And that really worked. So when you do a second campaign, that's going to help you a lot. It's your second campaign. Did you keep them in the loop? Did you talk to people? Yeah?
In MailChimp, and so I still send them an email. Now I'm gonna update you through a newsletter. Are you okay with it? And otherwise, there's a button down here, and you can unsubscribe. And nobody did, so I have them all.
Okay, well, in that case, it works. Yeah.
You don't regard Geld voor elkaar as crowdfunding?
Yeah, it's crowdfunding. Yeah, for sure. So I didn't answer the question actually. That's what you're saying. So sorry. We are attracting a different kind of financing now also. We are currently. So we're in business almost 3 years now. So crowdfunding for us is not a means to attract more funds for our research and development. So we need working capital now, and that funding need is a lot greater than we think we can. WakaWaka can create on Kickstarter or One Planet Crowd. We're not Pebble. So we won't be doing $20 million campaigns because of the product that we have. So now we are talking to private equity, and sorry.
Your Porsche can be bought right now from the $500,000.
Well, maybe you have to tell a little bit about me. That's not why we started this company, but maybe it doesn't come as a surprise. No, my partner Moritz and I, we promised each other that we could only retire once we have reached our goal, which is to reach 1.2 billion people who currently live without light. He's 62, so he's a little bit in a hurry. But we're very serious about that. So we're on our way. I mean, I don't have to walk to the office, so if that's what you're asking. So we are currently talking to private equity now, and having so many crowdfunding campaigns behind us is actually very, very helpful. So people do consider us to be, innovative in this aspect, where we activate the crowd and do a lot more than only back us. They talk about us, they introduce organizations to us, introduce distributors to us. It's really the crowd does a lot more for us than just financial support. Yeah. Any other questions? Go right ahead.
You said you have the next campaign in June for a new product in June. Which platform are you going to use for that?
Well, the product is going to be released in June. We did the campaign last October, again on Kickstarter and on One Planet Crowd. It's a mini solar home system, basically, which is called the WakaWaka base. We call it the Power and Light First Aid Kit. So especially for people who live in the States, the electricity grid is getting worse and worse in the States. It takes longer to get it back up. And there's 40 million people in the US who suffer from power outages every year. We measure power outages in minutes in the Netherlands. In the States, it's hours or days sometimes. So we're launching this also in outdoor retail in the US. And it's being made available first to our backers, of course, in June. And it's the same product again, and we're going to also distribute in off-grid areas. That's the one thing that's pretty unique about WakaWaka. It's the exact same product, which I showed you. So we're selling this on the Apple online store for $79. But this exact same product is also being retailed at $35 in South Africa, in Tanzania, in Ethiopia, in Ghana. It's the exact same product. And I think that's what sets WakaWaka apart from a lot of other companies, that we feel that people who really need it most, that they also deserve the same quality that we pay for. And the reason that we are selling in the West is also in order to be able to fund our operational expenses, so we can keep our profit margins so low in those off-grid areas where it's really needed. And that goes basically for most of our product range. Maybe going forward, we may divert from that, but this will be the core of what we do. And for each unit that is bought online, people get to donate one to a project of their choosing. So there's a unique code in the packaging, and you punch that in the website. So if you buy one in store, we get your details, so we know who you are. But you get to donate a light to a project of your choosing. So currently, all of our gift ones are going to Nepal, to the earthquake victims. But a few weeks from now, people will be able to choose between Nepal, the Philippines, and Syria, for example. Currently in Syria, WakaWaka is the most valued non-food item among Syrian refugees. They value this more than a bed or shelter or a cook stove or anything else, because it has a phone charger. So you can reach out to your family and you're able to find out whether they're dead or alive. And it's I would like to know if my mother or father would still be alive or not. But so that is something that we're pretty unique about. So you can choose your gift one online. Yeah. Is any of you here? I know that you're doing a Kickstarter campaign right now, but you're in one now. Indiegogo, yeah. Documentary. Who else is considering a campaign or doing one? Yeah, yeah. What are you considering?
We're considering launching a campaign for founding our charity. We develop a drone that can save rhinos in Africa. Attached to the drone, there's a camera that can automatically detect both rhinos and poachers. And if they get too close, then rangers can interact.
And when are you going to launch?
We hope to have a finished product by January 2016.
So finished product to show on the crowdfunding campaign, basically.
To provide to the wildlife preserve.
So when is your crowdfunding campaign going live?
There's a lot of planning involved. I learned today, so yeah, we'll see. Yeah, this is just the first step. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, the first takeaway for doing a crowdfunding campaign is to prepare. I think that's the one thing that we learned from the first campaign. Is without proper preparation, it's almost pointless to start a crowdfunding campaign. It's all in the prep, basically. Yeah.
Will you back some other initiative? This kind of initiative looks also very nice to me. Would you support this initiative through WakaWaka?
I think this is a very interesting question because saving rhinos with drones probably requires solar power. If the drones are solar powered, they're not at this point. Not at this point. Well, I'd be interesting to talk to you about solar powered drones, but no. In general, I think if if I can make the idea maybe a bit more general. For example, on Kickstarter, it's a community. It's a very visible and talkative community. If you want to launch a campaign and you've never backed another campaign, it means that you're not really part of this community. It's give and give back. It's also sort of a buy one, give one on Kickstarter. So yes, I've backed a lot of different campaigns on Kickstarter, not just for the purpose of saying to everybody, hey, look at me backing all these programs, but also because it's awesomely cool to find totally new products, totally new projects, and being able to say or feel that you're part of that. And I think it's that feeling which attracts people to crowdfunding in general, which is very powerful.
Financially backing it, but also promoting it through your voice. Yeah. Not only his project, but do you ever promote, not only say, oh, I back this product, please back this product too. Do you do that?
Well, I just heard about the Rhino campaign, but I'm actively promoting Remarkable magazine right now, who's doing a crowdfunding campaign right now on Kickstarter. So, sorry?
If you're sharing the same ideas, why not?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But we get really hundreds of requests from other Kickstarter campaigns asking us if we want to back their campaign. If we would spam our backers with all these campaigns, they wouldn't like us so much. But every now and then we do. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.